I'll call our meeting to order. Thank you for your attendance tonight. First is the Pledge of Allegiance, and TJ, I'm going to pick on you. Would you lead us, please? Pledge of Allegiance. All right, thank you. First is public comments. Now's the appropriate time for visitors in the audience to be recognized to speak on items both on the agenda and of general concerns to the patrons of the district. There will be a limit of 3 minutes for an individual, 5 for a group spokesperson. No speaker shall speak more than twice on any issue. The board is legally obligated to maintain confidentiality concerning district personnel. Therefore, matters concerning district personnel will not be discussed. Does anybody like to speak with us tonight? Yeah, welcome. Please identify yourself.
Hello, my name is Melissa Crowell. Good evening, Superintendent, Chairman, Board. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I have a few questions for you. Have you felt depressed or sad in the past week? How often? Have you thought of hurting yourself or others? How often do you think about suicide? Now tell me, are these uplifting questions? Are you now focusing on how you can overcome and move forward? No, you're focusing on pain and sadness. You might even be thinking things you've given no thought to before. There's a place for therapy, but it is not in school and it is not on a fishing expedition performed constantly on our normal healthy children. The TIS grant and the SIMHA grant require teachers and staff to act as mental health professionals, constantly evaluating our children's mental fitness by submitting them to questionnaires, classroom activities, and talk to emphasize the negative in the name of identifying problems. But by putting the spotlight on the negative, you actually encourage it. Ever wonder why 1 in 6 children is now diagnosed with a mental, behavioral, or developmental disorder? Perhaps it's because we talk about it all the time and put it in front of their faces instead of encouraging them to concentrate on the positives: healthy eating and exercise, being outside in the sunshine, and being part of a community and having goals. When you place a child's happiness as the highest goal, you undermine their ability to learn to cope and to overcome their circumstances. It's more victim mentality that finds a kid in a bad mood hole and hands him a shovel to find the deeper issues. Questions like, do you feel 100% supported by those around you all the time, are setting kids up for disappointment and opening up a fissure between parent and child. No parent supports their child's choices 100% of the time, nor should they. These are not questions that teachers have any business or right to ask. Imagine if our teachers had time to teach the actual subjects we hired them to teach. Speaking of hiring, why are the districts hiring so many new mental health professionals? But we can't have a dedicated geography class, or Latin, or a class on the Constitution and federalism. We know that everyone wants to help kids in crisis, but across the country, these programs are only creating more problems. Let's try to bring the focus of our schools back to educating on how the world works and the ideals our country was built on, and let the parents parent. Perhaps you could look at the budget and cut some strings to release us from these types of government restrictions and requirements. If you're determined to have this federal money, then the parents have the right to see the full curriculum, including all data that may be collected and any questionnaires that are going to be used this year, including day-to-day mental check-ins, formal and informal, as stated in the Parental Rights Bill, before it's presented to our children. And it needs to be an opt-in, not an opt-out. We would like specifics, please. We look forward to seeing action on this, and thank you again for your hard work.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody else like to speak to us tonight? Yes. Welcome.
Good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Witten. I'm a Green River native, licensed clinical social worker, and behavioral health therapist. Also a parent of students within our district. So I am here tonight to talk to you not about my opinion, but about evidence. This is evidence-based. I have information I can support everything I'm about to share. My concern is with item 5 on page 5 of the parental rights thing. I am going to go ahead and read the first part of that. Prior to administering any well-being questionnaire or health screening tool to students, the school district shall make available a copy of the questionnaire or information on health screening tools and obtain written or verbal consent for the parent. So There's exclusions for audiology, vision, and scoliosis screening. So let me remind you about suicide rates in Wyoming. We steadily stay in the top 5 states in the nation, sometimes number 1 for suicide. We are always double the national average for suicide. Suicide is the 7th leading cause of death for adults, 2nd leading cause of death, ages 10 to 44 in Wyoming. Just in the past year alone, there's been over 200 completed suicides in our state. So not included as exclusions are questionnaires and screening for thoughts of suicide and self-harm. So I can easily interpret the way it's currently worded as needing parental consent before screening and questioning students, even about if they are considering suicide or ending their life. There is a common belief that mentioning suicide or asking people, adolescents included, directly if they're considering suicide will lead to that. There is zero evidence in our evidence base to show that. So I just completed a full day of Prosper training. It's proactive suicide prevention contracted through the state of Wyoming, the governor's office initiative to address and prevent suicide in our state. So evidence-based, and one of the things we learned is other school districts across the country, wording such as the first half of the section I pointed out is tying the hands of even school counselors and other professionals to even ask or screen if students are at risk for suicide. So that is my concern. And we do have the schools, we have professionals in schools to utilize those tools that are evidence-based and proven to help reduce suicide rates among our adolescents. So my concern is that the way it's currently worded won't allow those tools to be utilized without parental consent. So I am just asking for clarification and an amendment to the way it's written into the policy to allow school professionals and mental health professionals to question and screen students for suicide risk when needed. Fear is without updating that will end up as one of those school districts where even school counselors' hands are tied to ask kids if they're considering suicide. Any information anybody needs, please feel free to reach out to me and I can connect you to resources.
All right, thank you. Marlene, welcome.
Thank you, Superintendent, Mr. Chairman, and board members. I'm Arlene Brady from Green River. And I'm first speaking tonight about the parental rights policy. When parents are notified 7 days prior to any survey or curriculum, and I've noted a few, well-being questionnaire, health screening tools, student participating and receiving instruction in any trainings, courses, or classes that address sexual orientation and gender identity, et cetera, will the parents be able to easily view the entire survey or curriculum prior to making the decision, as there have been numerous complaints regarding access to District 1's processes? So I'm not sure if anyone's tested the system, make sure that the parents can see everything clearly before making a decision. And as previously stated by the administration, if no parental response is received within 1 day prior to administering a survey or curriculum, the school will make the decision to enroll the child based on local parentis, assuming acting or taking the role of the parent. Can you tell me where in SF9 the district has the authority to opt in any student? We certainly don't want to break any law. SF9 H3005 in gross copy, so that's the third reading, the 5th amendment. Page 3C states the school must obtain written or electronic permission. So it certainly is an opt-in. The district must understand that if a student is not opted in by a parent or legal guardian, the issue is settled. Look at it this way: unless any student is opted in, no survey or curriculum will be administered. I recommend not passing the third reading of this policy until you have it very clear and it's airtight. I do thank you for addressing this parental rights seriously, this bill. Unfortunately, other districts across the state have not taken this important legislation as seriously. Second, regarding the TIS grant, what are the requirements of receiving this grant, and what documentation needs to be submitted back to the grant provider? And if I can get that via email or however, Superintendent Behringer, Dr. Foos has my email address. That's all I have. Any questions?
Any questions?
I need those questions. Right, say that again, or email me those. Can you email me those questions?
Sure.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, thank you. Next is the recognition of the All-American cheerleaders, Michaela. You here? There she is.
We brought the whole team. But good evening, Chairman Corr, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees. It's an honor to be here tonight to recognize some outstanding student athletes from our Wolves cheer team who received a special distinction at UCA camp this past July. Being named an All-American is a prestigious achievement that highlights not only their cheer skills, but also their leadership, dedication, and commitment to their team and school. After an intense 3-day camp, we are excited to announce that 10 of our athletes earned the title of UCA All-American Cheerleader. This reflects their talent in all aspects of cheerleading, including jumps, tumbling, stunting, spirit, and leadership. I'm proud to introduce our All-American recipients. Our seniors are Isabella Kelly, Ezia Romango, Cameron Shaw, and Hayden Winter. Our juniors are Jaylene Gallegos, Lynn Hunt, Maggie Lennon, Juliet Peterson, Dax Smith. And our sophomore recipient is Kaylana Isaac. These athletes have not only excelled on the cheer mat, but have also shown great sportsmanship, character, and school pride. Their success wouldn't be possible without the support of their families, teammates, and the community. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to their success, including you, our school board and administration, for supporting our student athletes. We are incredibly proud of these All-Americans and are confident that they will continue to represent Wolves Cheer and Green River High School at the highest level. Thank you again for having us, and congratulations to our All-American cheerleaders.
Congratulations. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Want to do a picture real quick? Okay. Cheerleaders taking a picture? No. Yes.
They should not have-
Yeah, I bet they do.
Do All-Americans in the front.
Oh, yeah. Come over on this side.
Tiptoes. Great job, lady.
Okay, next up is approval of the agenda. I need a motion, please. We're not doing that. Sorry. We're not. No, you can do, give me a break.
Yeah, I can do that.
I'm losing it, man. Yeah.
Okay. Josie Herschert.
Kirker?
Perlman.
All right.
Right out of the gate.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. All right, any motion to approve the agenda?
Almost.
Moved by Tom, second by Brenda. I need to add 4.09 and remove 7.01. 4.09 is under consent agenda, permission to apply for funds for teachers fellowship, and 7.01 is presentation on the TIS grant survey. Need a motion to approve that amendment?
Move that we make those, we remove 7.01 and add 4.09.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, been moved by Dave, second by Dan to add 4.09 and remove 7.01. All those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. All those in favor of the amended agendas, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented in addition to 4.09. Anything in there you want taken out? If not, I need a motion to approve.
All motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, moved by Tom, second by Ashley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is some reminders. The Hall of Fame banquet is scheduled for Saturday. The football game is scheduled for Friday night. If you're planning on attending, you need to get after it and get a reservation. You can contact the activities office. Reminder of the ribbon cutting for the Lincoln Middle School District Kitchen remodel. That'll be on the 18th at 6 p.m. For the public, there will be a food tasting from 5 to 6 p.m. as well. Reminder of the 2024 Fall Regional Meeting on September 19th in Kemmer. Reminder that on the same night, some of us will be going out and doing a meet and greet at McKinnon at 6. And a reminder that the WSBA 2024 Annual Conference is November 20 through the 22nd in Casper. We have nothing on personnel. Under curriculum, we have a presentation on the WIN groups at Monroe Elementary.
Well, good evening, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, Board of Trustees. Thanks for providing us the opportunity tonight to showcase what we're changing in our intervention and assessment at Monroe Elementary. Just to give you a little bit of an overview, the WIN periods at pretty much every elementary, actually every elementary in Green River, are for reading and math. They're Tier 2 intervention and enrichment periods, where we try to target skills that kids need to either improve on to build on Tier 1 instruction or be enriched on if they've already mastered the skills. So that's what we're going to talk to you about tonight. We've changed some things. Our staff has done a good job of running with some of those changes because it's a little bit different. In the past, we just grouped for reading. We group kids based on reading levels for LLI intervention groups. Now we're focusing a little bit more on skills in reading and then making those groups a little bit more fluid in reading and math. So it's going to be 3 week cycles that we'll talk about here in a bit. So just it's in line with the district goals, improving wellness, safety, student achievement, communication, and collaboration. Monroe's goals for this year, we're continuing on 2 goals from last year. The goals from last year was communicating clear learning goals and to mastery for proficiency skills based on the state standards that our kids need to know and be able to do. And then building a community in the classroom. So basically creating relationships with kids and then tying back into those interests, beliefs, and culture back into the lessons. So it makes it more relevant to kids. This year, for the groups that are ready for it, and mainly in the intervention period of things, we're going to use different types of assessments to determine individual students' proficiency with specific content at specific points. Basically, what that means is we're trying to tailor the Tier 2 instruction to what the kids need in the intervention and enrichment period. So it's more individualized. So that's what we're trying to get out of it. So kids that, again, need those skill gaps filled, we're assessing those, screening those, and then the ones that need enrichment, we're trying to provide instruction that way. And then on the right is our proficiency scale for our staff members to show if they met all the criteria at the end of the school year to be proficient. So basically the agenda, first is the science of reading. We've really dove into the science of reading and then the screening process, obviously in the assessment intervention process and how we group our kids. So this is based on the WDE strategic plan. This is right off the WDE website. So again, we're trying to be in line with what the state wants our kids to know and be able to do. You can see the percentages that are completed. The bottom right corner is really what we're focusing on is the early lit piece, the K-3 legislation. You can see that that's 30% complete. So we're probably banking on some more changes in the future as they implement it. So then the science of reading. So you guys can see what the science of reading is right there. We're really hitting on the phonemic awareness and phonics in the younger grades, and then moving up fluency and vocabulary and comprehension in the older grades. So that's what we're starting to focus on a little bit more, because we found that in our older kids, we're seeing some phonics gaps that we needed to address in our intervention earlier, and then also later on as we screen them. So that's what science of reading is. What it's not is a program. So this is a way, it teaches our teachers how to screen, intervene, teach the phonics, teach the skills. And it's not just a program that we run through like a book or put kids on computers. This is utilizing our staff members effectively. So the screening process. So it's really brief, targeted. Well, you guys can see it. It's all science-based, right? And a lot of it's in small groups for the most part, or individualized. So it's either one-on-one or in small groups. That way we have an opportunity to see what the kids know. It's not in a big classroom setting where they're all sitting and taking an assessment. We actually have our intervention people, our special services people, our ELL folks. They actually poll kiddos and screen the kiddos. That way they have an opportunity to see what they really know. Here's the process. Again, we're just following the WDE process and then adapting it as a school, and probably similar to most people in the district. One thing that I'd really like to highlight is that we have to screen the kids 3 times a year. So they have to be screened fall, winter, and spring based on the legislation. So we're screening them 3 times a year, but we're constantly formatively assessing in the classroom. So the actual screening process is 3 times a year, which I think is right there. And for the K3 or the K2 kiddos, or the K1, and then you can see how it falls off 2, 3 as the process goes. So we have to screen them. Those are the times of the year we have to screen them, but we're constantly using classroom data and the FastBridge data, which is our screening tool, and our that has the interventions in it to intervene or enrich for our kids. So assessment intervention. Here's the flow chart. I can't really take credit for this. This is from Reading Rev that a lot of our teachers were trained in this summer, but we just took their flow chart and basically say yes or no. And then if a student falls into these categories in the flow chart, that's how we intervene or enrich from there. FastBridge. So these are what we screen the kiddos for on FastBridge for English. It's just basically, if you want to know more information about it, come see us. We were talking about it in PLCs today, but this is where the subtests of what our kids are assessed in FastBridge, and that is in line with what the state wants our kids to know and be able to do. Care groups. Basically from there, so we group our kiddos, they are put in. So now instead of being just put in with their reading level, their benchmark level on LOI, they're grouped by the skills. So this is the scope and sequence that you can see that our teachers are working on right now. It's kind of a work in progress, but this is, they're pacing it out, and then they're going to move it into data cycles as they pace it out, where they teach, they assess, they teach, they reteach, they reassess, and then from there, we regroup our kids. So this is the data cycle. And again, this is roughed in. It's not hard dates because we know kids learn at different rates. So these are things that we're just shooting for. So if kids aren't ready to change groups, or the whole group isn't ready to switch, they'll stay in that group. And again, they're still getting the tier 1 instruction. So they're not falling behind in the regular classroom. They're getting the tier 2 until they fill those gaps. And then when they fill those gaps in the skills for tier 2, they'll be switched into another group as the data cycles go. Any questions?
Questions? Comments?
Sweet. Thanks. Again, just appreciate the folks at Monroe. Thank you guys for your support. If you ever want to come see it, feel free to come anytime. We'd love to have you in to check out our process.
All right, thank you. Okay, next is your update on the Lincoln Middle School kitchen remodel. I believe Leah's going to talk about this.
Chairman Corr, Superintendent Behringer, Board of Trustees. Well, we're cooking with gas. We're back in Lincoln. Happy to be there. It was a long 5 months. Kitchen's great. We really appreciate the new space to prepare the food for the kids. I'm hoping you guys will all come to the food show and the ribbon cutting, and you can see the space, and we're so excited. The girls are just, I mean, now I'm hearing from other kitchens, hey, can we have this like Lincoln? I'm like, no, sorry, this is Lincoln. So anyway, we're super excited. It's a beautiful space and we can't thank you guys enough.
All right, looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah,
All right. thank
thanks
you.
so much.
Next is consider approval of the updated bus stops for transportation. Rachel, welcome.
Good evening, Chairman Court, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Behringer, sorry. So this is just our fall update of the stops that we've had to add after your guys' approval in May. These are just little tweaks and changes based on our students where they live or where they are attending in the schools they're enrolled in, whether they're forced or not. Highway 530, we moved their stop location from the junction of Highway 1 and at 530 to the Buckboard turnoff. So that was a change, so we need your approval on that. There's a new child care center located at Hilltop Baptist Church, so we had to utilize our Wilkes and Evans stop for all of our elementaries. So those are the first two that were essentially created or not commonly used. Then the other were just already board approved stops that are now being utilized for schools that those stops are not in their general location, but we have students that need those stops because they were forced to attend those schools.
I assume we have students now that live at Buckboard. Is that? what
Yes, we've had we had one student last year, and now we have two students that are attending school in Green River that live at Buckboard.
Okay.
And with the change of how we are going to McKinnon, we were able to move that stop to the Buckboard entrance and not having to have parents come and meet us at that junction.
So is the bus taking the County Road 1 or going around?
They are actually doing both on their approach to school to pick up the students. They are taking Highway 1 when they don't have students. And then when they come back around, they are coming through Manila and picking up at Buckboard so that they are utilizing the loop instead of just the one way back and forth.
Okay. All right. How's the construction going on? Highway 1?
It is complete for this season. They got what they could get done. Our drivers' feedbacks are they're very thankful for the changes that were made. It's very clear where the construction stopped. And they're hopeful that when construction resumes that there's more progress to be made.
Now, I know Williams is going to repave the first 2 miles of County Road 1. Has that been done?
That has been done,
Okay.
yes. That has been completed.
Haven't been out there, so. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll be out
Um,
there in a couple weeks.
Yep, we sent drivers out right before school started. We did not use Highway 1 for summer school as we did have students out there that came into Green River. And in doing that, we found the time that it takes for our bus to go to McKinnon and back. It is 1 minute longer for us to go through Manila versus Highway 1. So it's a horse apiece. It's 15 miles difference, but
A lot
it's
quicker.
it
And
is
safer.
feasible. Yes, it is feasible and safer, and our team is happy with it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the bus stop additions of Highway 530 at the Buckboard turnoff and the Wilkes and Evans for all elementary schools for the new child care center located at Hilltop Baptist Church.
I'll motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Tom, second by Ashley to approve the changes on our bus stop route. Any questions on that?
I just want to make sure at the 530 Buckboard,
Mhm.
there will never be a time when we're doing a 2 or 3 point turn there.
No.
We'll
So-
probably be coming in from the south.
We will be, when we are picking the student up to take them from school, we are approaching from Manila. So we are going to be on the right-hand side. We will just pull off the highway into that turnoff. We will never be doing a UE or anything like that.
Good question. Thanks.
Very good question.
Anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
We've removed the memorandum of understanding with New Fuel. I requested that our attorneys, I don't know if you guys read through that, but I requested our attorneys take a look at that because there's some liability stuff in there that I want to make sure that we're covered as a district. So we'll have that on the October meeting. We should anyway. Next is consider approval to apply for impact aid monies. Craig, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yes, Chairman Court, Board, we have the resolution that has to be read today to apply for the impact aid. It is money that we receive for parents who work on or underneath federal property.
Yeah, it used to be a lot of money, but not anymore. So if you look at your board booklet, that motion needs to be the second paragraph down. So I need somebody to read that, please.
So I move to authorize the district to proceed with a impact aid student count, those whose parents work on or under federal land during the month of October 2024, and to authorize Superintendent Craig Behringer to apply for the FY 24-25 monies on behalf of Sweetwater School District Number 2.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the resolution as outlined by Brenda. Any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Next is consider approval of new policy KBA parental rights, third reading. Jason.
Thank you, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, trustees. On page 4, Mary, if you don't mind, is the change that occurred between the second reading and tonight's consideration for a third reading. The blue is in the changed, and we received some feedback that 1 week is appropriate. The previous language was a couple of days before, so we inserted the 1 week there as well to give folks some time to think about it, and they can opt out a day ahead of time if they choose to do so. You can see the new language there in the blue. So thank you for your consideration, Board of Trustees, on this third reading. Chairman Core, I know you believe you have some options on how to move forward tonight.
Yeah, we have 3 options: approve it, deny it, or we can table it if we're not comfortable with it. So whatever the pleasure of the board is.
Go ahead.
They're feeling pretty solid as they can be. This is new to everyone. It hasn't been into practice. There is some anticipation at the legislative session here in 2025 that the state statute will be reviewed and most likely sharpened based on some of the growing pains that all 48 districts are going to be going through here the rest of this fall and partly into the winter.
One of the options is we could approve it and then go back in and amend the approval. And because this was supposed to be in August by legislation, and so we are behind the ball. So we could approve it and then go back in and then look at amendments to that. Am I right, Dr. Foose?
That is correct.
I motion that we approve policy KBA on third reading.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
I think it's a moving target.
It is a moving target. I've got all kinds of reservations about this, and one of them is the legislature created this problem again. And well, I'll just say it, the Freedom Caucus created this problem, and we ain't got to deal with it. And there are some districts in the state that are not going to approve it. They're going to challenge it. I think we already communicate very well with our parents in this district. This opt-in and opt-out, you know, you want to opt out, opt out. I don't know why we have to opt in. I don't get that. And the real problem I have is they've taken local control out of our hands. And this is a local issue, local control issue. And frankly, I don't get a chance to vote, but I would vote no on this, on third reading. That's my thoughts. Anybody else? Mark?
I'm a no. I think parental rights are a great thing. I think they're going about it the wrong way. I think our parents usually will tell us what they're thinking anyway. But I think the liability factors here to try to turn teachers into mental health counselors is foolish. I think there's a lot of liability, and the state has not addressed any of that. I think it really needs to go back and get reworked. So I'm not in favor of this particular legislation.
Okay, anybody else?
I
Ashley?
think Jennifer brought up some good points too, because we don't want to tie the hands of our professionals and not be able to help the students that do need help. So, I mean, and I am a member of the Super 8 committee, and I know we put a lot of time and discussion into all of these, and I wouldn't be opposed to going back and continuing to work on it, or waiting and approving next month. Either way is good with me.
Okay.
So
Tom?
if we vote this down, can it be represented down the road, reworked?
Yeah, I think it can go through the Super 8 process again. Would have to, that's our policy.
We'd have to readdress it.
Yeah.
What's the penalty if we, since it was due in August, to have a policy in place? What's the penalty from the?
I would say not having something in writing that is state, come down from the state. I think this leaves us in a limbo that puts us in more limbo than by passing it and going back and amending it.
So you're,
But my recommendation is we pass it and then go back into Super 8 committee and make those amendments. That would be my recommendation. We have a lot of people not sure what to do, how to do this, and without any guidance, we'll do nothing but fail with it.
Brenda, did you have something?
Like Ashley, I've sat in on the committee meetings, and I mean, we've been dragging this thing out forever, and it's gonna continue to drag out forever. Even after going through all the reviews, I still have reservations, no doubt about it. I just don't know how we're gonna get it perfect. I don't know that it's possible. We're not gonna get anything that's gonna make everybody happy. But with the things that were brought up again today, I don't know. I still have a lot of reservations on it.
Dan?
I'm the same way. I want to relook at it. Needs amended. It's just how we go about doing it.
Okay. And the other thing I would say is everyone here has a different definition of what change is. This is fact. This is not good. So you heard the recommendation from superintendent to approve it, and we can amend it down the road. So anybody else want to talk?
So just for clarification, then if we pass it and say we're gonna amend it down the road, does it have to go through two or three readings every single time?
It depends on the amendment. If it's a short one, semantics, wordsmithing, no, but if it's a substantial change, yes. And that's how our Super 8 committee and the agreements are set up, to not have substantial changes without vetting the public and giving people a chance to respond and share their concerns. And so I think, a little bit of that is objective, but I think that's the general thought process you need to keep in mind for amending versus 3 readings.
I guess my question would be to Jason is it, because if we have to go through 3 readings again, or is it better to not pass? And then I'm just wondering if we say no and then we can pass it next month, or do we say yes?
I don't see a
Keep amending.
substantial change.
It's not substantial.
No.
Okay.
I mean, a substantial change would be.
Is the whole paragraph.
Yes.
Okay.
So the bottom line here is if we vote this down and we want to revisit this, it'll go through the Super 8 process and it'll go through 3 readings. If we approve it and then amendment, that third reading, depending on how significant that is, could either be 1 reading or 3 readings. And we could table it to the next meeting, but we do have a motion on the floor to approve it. So we want to vote here? All right, for those that are in favor of this, raise your hand. Those opposed? Motion carries 4-3. Okay, next is consider approval of the new policy BDER, parent rights complaint procedures. Jason?
This is the -R policy required by state statute that fits under the parental rights policy. It spells out the grievance procedures for parents or guardians if they believe they have a grievance they want to pursue in terms of communication with their minor child.
Okay, I need a motion on this.
Remind me, is this third reading?
Yes, it is, Mark.
This third reading.
Move that we approve 905.
Okay, moved by Dave, second by Brenda to approve KBA, is this KBA-R?
BDER.
BDE-R, I'm sorry, I was on the wrong page. Okay, any discussion on this? My feelings are the same. And we're in the same discussion, we think.
I just think that we need to stay on top of it, and we being, some of us aren't going to be here. But moving forward, the legislature has tied our hands. We have to approve this in order to be included. So moving forward, I think that we have to adjust.
Our district council has reminded us that it's tricky, it's complex when we go against state statute law and district practice, district handbooks, district policy, state law. It all fits underneath of each other, and it all needs to work together. But state law does hold the authority over district policy, and that's what they have reminded us of.
Well, I'm hoping that there's a district that challenges it. I really do. It's gonna take some guts to do it, but I'm hoping that happens. It's my opinion. Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Motion carries 4-3. Thank you, Jason, for all your hard work on this, and Super 8 and everybody else.
Thank you, Chairman Core, trustees.
I appreciate it. Okay, next item on the agenda is what? Oh, yeah, I got it. Were you afraid I got lost? Superintendent board comments. Well, good. We'll start with you.
We got off to a good start. If you had the opportunity to listen to our speaker that kicked us off on Tuesday, he was very good. We received a wolf painting yesterday from him that we'll hang up. And so, and each of you have a frame, and part of his thing was, he talked about being a part of the pack and leading the pack and being one in the pack and all in the pack. So it was a great way to start the year. And I think we're off to a good start. Not a perfect start, but a good one.
Okay, Dave, you got something?
I don't.
Okay, Dan?
Mr. Lake, tell Mrs. Witt and Miss Worthingham that the 4th grade field trip was very good. I think they did a very good job. We went to South Pass and visited the mine. And I think we're off to a good start this year.
Good. Mark?
Yeah, thanks for everybody's hard work and keep it up.
Okay, Brenda?
I'm off to a great start, so excited to be back. I get help, so that's good. Thanks for this awesome picture. If you guys didn't see it.
Okay, Thomas?
Well, we are off to a good start. I had a chance to go to see Sam Glenn. It was amazing. It was funny. It was educational. It was inspiring. So he did a great job. Hall of Fame this weekend. I apologize. I can't be there. I'm going to be watching the granddaughter in Kansas City. But congratulations, Coach Foose. I talked to Coach Shilcott today. He'll be here. He flies in on Thursday. Richard Smith will be here. Bob will not. But some great inductees. So anyway, congratulations on that. Hats off to the candidates who put their name in the hat to fill the 4 positions. It'll be an interesting November 5th, for sure.
Okay, thank you. Ashley?
Yeah, sounds like we have been off to a good start. And so thank you to everyone and for all the time and that you put into taking care of our kids. And yeah, good luck to all the candidates. It's going to be a big change on the board. So I hope that they will take their time to, you know, come to our meetings and see what it is that we do and educate themselves too. And then for everyone to educate themselves on which candidates are best aligned with what you think the board needs to do.
All right, thank you. I echo what they say about the candidates. Make sure you vet those people out, find out what they're all about and vote accordingly. And the candidates have been invited by the superintendent to come visit with him to look at how budget works and all the things that we have to do. And there's a lot more to it than just attending a meeting a month. Hall of Fame, looking forward to it. I'm sorry Bob's not here. I really am. Was part of the 2009 when we started this Hall of Fame committee, and he was instrumental in getting this done, and he's sorely missed. And I'm hoping his family will be here. Is that correct? Good. Richard Smith, man, I did some research on this guy, and why is it taking this long to put this guy in the Hall of Fame? This guy's done some amazing stuff. The cheer team, Tim Chilcott, I can remember in 2005, the state basketball tournament. And at the time, I didn't understand the significance of what they did. But I had him on at halftime of one of the Wolves basketball games after they'd won the state championship. And I remember that. I probably have that interview somewhere. I don't know where, but I never realized what the significance of that championship would do for the Green River cheer program and what they've done since. And it all started with that 04-05 team. And of course, I have a soft spot for the 04 football team. My son played on that team. Those kids were, well, Jason can tell you, they were unbelievable athletes, and they were one team. And Jason, I know, working with you on the radio over the years, and when you were coaching and I was interviewing you about games, not one time in Foose's 11 games that year did he mention state championship. He never mentioned it. He mentioned we got to worry about next week. And those kids, my son would come home and he'd tell me who the opponent was. Oh, we're going to beat him this week. And the only time he came home and said, I don't know, was Riverton. And as it turned out, Riverton was the toughest opponent they had that year, and great rally. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of those kids, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's coming up. And Thursday, this has got nothing to do with the school district, but I know a lot of people in the community recreate on the Greenbelt. They're celebrating the 30th anniversary. I can't believe it's been 30 years since that Trona Bridge was put in, but they're doing a nice little presentation down on the island. The food trucks will be down there. They've got a 5K run and walk and all kinds of things, and that'll be this Thursday. So if you don't have anything better to do on Thursday, I encourage you to go down and support that particular event. So on the McKinnon trip, have we figured out who's all going to McKinnon? Okay, and then Kemmer. Okay, all right. So cool. So we'll meet here we've got to be there at 6, right? We'll meet here about 5:10, something like that. We'll ride out there. So, okay, that's all I have. Thanks for your attendance. What's that? I haven't heard it. October 16th is a candidate forum, and it's in here, right? Yep. It's in the boardroom. So that'd be a good opportunity to listen. Oh, yeah. I got that on my list here, Brenda. Thanks for taking care of me. And you've done it for all these years, taking care of what I'm doing here. The November meeting is going to be November 5th. I know that's election day, but we meet at 6 o'clock, so we should be okay. I have a conflict on November 12th, and to be honest with you, I don't want to miss my last school board meeting. So I appreciate you guys working with me on that and moving it. So the board meeting will be on November 5th, so take note of that. All right, anything else? Brenda, did I miss? All right, thanks for coming tonight. Appreciate it. Meeting's adjourned.